For this project, you're going to need some super bulky weight yarn. I'm using this very soft and plush velvety yarn from Hobby. It's called Honey Bunny, and it's a super bulky weight 6 yarn. I'm also going to be using a 5mm crochet hook along with this yarn. Let's get started. For round 1, we're going to start off with 2 chains. And in the 2 chains, you'll insert 8 single crochets. So you'll do it like so. Chain twice. In that first chain you made, or you can call it the second chain from the hook, you're going to insert those 8 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then for round 2, you're going to increase around. So go into that first single crochet you made, and you're going to insert 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. And we're going to repeat that all the way around until you reach the end, which will be 16 single crochets total. Here I'm on my 4th repetition, so that's finish my 8 single crochets. Here's 9 and 10 single crochets in the same stitch. 11 and 12, 13 and 14, and the last one here, 15 and 16. After you finish round 2, we're going to move on to round 3. For round 3, you're going to single crochet and increase all the way around. So it'll look like this. Single crochet and increase with 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Single crochet and increase, single crochet and increase, single crochet and increase. I'm halfway through. I'm going to do that another 4 repetitions. When you get to the end, you'll have finished round number 3 here. You'll have 24 stitches in the round. And for the next section, you're simply going to single crochet around without doing any increasing or decreasing. And for this part, it's quite simple, it's quite easy to lose track of your stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a little stitch marker here. You can use an actual stitch marker, or if you're lazy like me, you can just snip off a small piece of yarn to keep track of where you are. I like to slide the extra scrap of yarn just at the start of my round here. So when I single crochet into the next stitch, it'll hold my yarn tail here steady, and then I'll know that when I come around to the end that I'll have gone around for an entire round. So now let me go ahead and single crochet around. You're going to do this from rounds 4 all the way to round 7. So just single crochet around for these next few rounds. We'll go ahead and meet back when we finish round 7. Here I finished round 7 of the pattern, and as you can see, you've got this nice little half spherical shape, and at this point, by the way, if you haven't turned your work inside out yet, you might want to do that. So this was how I was working originally, but I just turned the right side out. So here it is. And for round number 8, we're on round 8 now. We're going to go ahead and single crochet and decrease all the way around. That's going to happen for 8 repetitions. So you'll go down from 24 to 16 stitches. Let me go ahead and demonstrate the first few repetitions. You're going to single crochet. Oh, by the way, let me move my stitch marker up now. Maybe easier to see here. So start with a single crochet, and then you're going to decrease in the next stitch. You can do an invisible decrease if you want, or a regular decrease. Because I'm using this fluffy yarn, here, let me do an invisible decrease here, going into both front loops, and then pulling your yarn through the 2 front loops, and single crocheting through as normal. So you can choose to do whichever one you want. I tend to like doing the invisible decrease just because it looks a little better that way, less bumpy. So here I'm single crocheting and then doing my invisible decrease, going into the next 2 front loops, pulling through and finishing off the single crochet. Single crochet, decrease with going through the 2 front loops, pulling through and single crochet. All right, and my last repetition is coming up here. I know this because my little stitch marker is telling me that I'm at the end of the round. All right, so that was round number 8. Now we're going to do round 9, which is going to be a simple decrease all the way around. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and now work here. Just simply decreasing all the way around. You're going to go from 16 stitches to 8. So that's my first one. Here's my second decrease. My third decrease. If you're working with this velvety chenille yarn, you'll notice that the stitches may be a little hard to see. This is something that you will get used to after working with it for a while. But for now, if you're new to it, just try and do your best in feeling for the stitches if you are not able to see them. Stitch markers will be really important for this type of project because it'll help you keep track of where you are in the round. Alright, so I have just finished my 8 single crochets around, and as you can see, my circle has now, my sphere, is now almost closed up. I have this tiny hole on top. For round 10, we're going to go ahead and increase all the way around. We're going to start making the snowman wide again. So this is actually kind of the neck area with this really tiny 8 single crochet section. So now let's go ahead and increase around. Let me move my yarn tail up here again to find the beginning of my round. And increase. Next single crochet, increase. Next single crochet, increase. Again, increasing is putting 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So once you get to the end of the round, as I've done here, you would have 16 stitches all the way around. And this time for round 11, we're going to increase a little differently. We're going to go increase 4 times around. So what we'll do is single crochet 3 and then an increase. Repeat that 4 times around. So here's how it goes. Single crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3, And in the next single crochet, you're going to increase by putting 2 in the same stitch. Let's repeat that again. Single crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. And in the next stitch, you're going to increase. Again, single crochet 3. And in the next stitch, increase. Now we're going to do our very last repetition, single crochet 3, and increase in the last stitch. This gives you 20 stitches all the way around. And now at this point, you're just going to be single crocheting around from rounds 12 to round 14. So again, this will be a great time to kind of make sure you have your stitch marker in place so you don't lose track of where you are. And you're simply going to single crochet around for these next several rounds. We're going to meet back when finishing round 14. And round 15 is where we're going to crochet a little differently. So for now, just single crochet all the way around until you reach round 14. Alright, so here is my snowman so far with round 14 finished. Moving on to round 15, we're going to start doing some decreasing. We're going to decrease around 4 times. For this, you're going to single crochet 3 and then decrease. Do that repeating around 4 times. Let me show you what it looks like. Single crochet 3 here. 1, 2, 3, and decrease in the next 2 stitches. I'm going to do the invisible decrease method, so going into the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through both loops, yarn over, go through the next 2 as a normal single crochet. So let's do that again. Single crochet 3, and now decrease. Single crochet 3, and decrease. Let's do it again. Single crochet 3, and we're going to decrease. This brings us back to the very front of the round, and at this point you're going to pause and we're going to do some important things. We're going to go ahead and insert eyes between round, I would say around 12 to 13 for some cuter lower eyes, but if you want to go higher, that's fine too. You're also going to want to stuff the body really well and continue stuffing the body as you work up. I just wanted to quickly show you my original snowman here. He has some cute little sparkly eyes, and I'm going to go ahead and link that in the description box below if you want to use some sparkly eyes too, or you can use some typical plain solid black eyes, or however you want. You can even sew on the eyes or use crochet methods or felting methods to put eyes on. But here, I inserted the eyes between rounds 12 and round 13, and I have them 4 stitches apart. You can go ahead and put them up higher if you want. So in this snowman sample, I put them between round 13 and 14, which is a little higher up. And I think I want to put them lower this time. So we're going to try this out. And make sure you secure the eyes tightly from the back. Alright, so here's what my little snowman looks like, all stuffed. As you can see, stuffing will make your snowman bulge out quite nicely. It'll fill out his cute little body. So he's nice and chubby now. Let's go ahead and finish up We have 2 more rounds to go. For the next round, round 16, you're simply going to decrease all the way around, and that will end up with 8 single crochets. So we're going from 16 to 8. So here, we're just going to decrease by inserting your hook into the next 2 stitches, the front loops of the next 2 stitches, and pulling through for a single crochet. That's my first decrease. Here's my second. Remember, we're going to go to 8 here, so here's number 3. Number 7, and finally decrease number 8. So once you've got that done, you have finished round number 16, and round number 17 is simply going to be to close up the hole a little more. So my instruction is to decrease around, and as a note, if you find that your head is looking a little pointy, which can happen if you're using thinner yarns, you'll want to instead just snip off your yarn here and just use a long tail to sew up the hole. So you don't have to be doing all of the next decreases, because you may find it easier to just sew up the hole yourself. So here I'm going to do maybe 2 or 3 decreases. All right, so for this next round, decrease and decrease again. By the way, you'll want to stuff any last stuffing into your snowman at this point if you still have a little bit of a gap to go. I think I'm going to add a bit more. And now, let me finish up here. So I see that my hole is getting pretty small here. I'm just going to go into the next 2 stitches and try and work in a decrease again. All right, getting really tiny here. I'm going to skip the next stitch actually and just slip stitch here. All right. So I noticed that I'm not able to complete 4 decreases around the top of my doll's head because it's going to be way too cramped. So I'm simply going to fasten off with a bit of a yarn tail and use it to cinch up whatever hole I have. I don't really have a hole left, so I'm just going to pull my yarn in through here. All right, and you'll want to hide whatever yarn tail you've made. So there we have it. You just pull it through and, oops, got a little bit of fuzz coming out here. All right, so there we go. Here is our cute little snowman's body so far. You've got 2 little clumps of snowballs sitting atop each other. And once you finish this, you can go ahead and move on to the scarf. I've decided to use this pretty green yarn for my snowman's scarf. It is also a super bulky weight yarn. You'll want to try and keep consistent with the type of yarn you use. So if you're using like medium weight yarn, for instance, for your snowman's body, stay with medium weight yarn for the snowman's scarf and hat too. All right, so let's get started. For the scarf, you're going to find out where your snowman's side is, the very side of his body. And we're going to start off by making sort of the scarf strap. We're going to crochet all the way around the doll's head and then back out again. So this is going to be a scarf that stays on the snowman's body and can't be removed. And I like it for these smaller projects because it provides a very nice and neat look. And you don't have to get all fiddly with trying to sew on small accessories. So let's go ahead and start. You're going to chain 5, or however long you want your scarf to be. However long you want the end of the scarf to be, the part that hangs out. So I'm just going to chain 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I can hold it up to my snowman, and I think that's about the right length I like. And then I'm going to attach yarn to the side of the doll's neck, and that would be between round 9 and round 10, around there. So let me just insert my hook. Oops, gosh, it's so fiddly. Insert my hook into the side of the doll's neck, right there. You're going to be going under a stitch. And let me just double check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to slip stitch to attach my yarn. Let me show you that again. Insert your hook under a stitch. Remember, this is going to be at the very side of the doll. Yarn over, pull through the loop, and pull through the original loop where you were. So this attaches the strand or the chain to your doll's head. And now we're going to go underneath the next stitch and yarn over, pull through for a slip stitch. Go under the next stitch, yarn over, pull through for a slip stitch. And we're going to go and repeat all the way around, going under these stitches, pulling through for a slip stitch. Once you arrive back here, you're going to want to go into the same stitch as where you started off from, so that you avoid having any sort of gap in between your two scarf pieces. So I'm just going to slip stitch right back into the chain that I started off from. And from there, I'm going to make another chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that will conclude, that will be the same length as the first strand. And I can go ahead and fasten off at this point and have the two strands just hang out together here. All right, so let me go ahead and fasten off. I'm adding one more chain there. I want the back scarf end to look just a little bit longer. All right, so let me go ahead and tie the ends. You're going to want to do that if you're working with velvety yarn, just to make sure the ends are nicely secure. The reason why is because if you cut too close to where you fasten off, it may unravel. The ends are prone to losing a little bit of its fur. So just to be sure, you'll want to knot the ends to keep any unraveling from happening. All right, after you knot the ends, you can go ahead and trim your yarn ends. And as you can see, your little snowman's scarf is now complete. He has a cute little scarf that is so neatly crocheted onto his body. No need for sewing, no need for tying. And that's that. At this point, if you'd like to, you can go ahead and embroider the nose and the little arms to your snowman doll. I'm going to be using some medium weight yarn to do so because I don't have the right colors in this super bulky weight velvet yarn, but that's totally okay. You can use regular yarn, you can use thread, whatever you'd like. You just go ahead and find where you want to embroider the nose, the carrot nose. And I'm going to make it a really simple little carrot nose, just a line, which will admittedly kind of look like a beak, I know, a bird's beak. Once you finish with the snowman's embroidery, you can stop here. He makes a perfectly cute ornament the way he is like this. Or if you want to create a little hat for him, just follow my directions to do the following. You're going to start off first with a slip knot because we're going to make a chain. And then we're going to chain 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to insert 12 double crochets into the 4th chain from the hook. So counting back, that's going to be the very first chain you made. And you're simply going to insert 12 double crochets in that chain. So here is my first double crochet, second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9, 10, 11, and 12 to finish off. Once you've got that, you're going to insert a slip stitch into the very first double crochet you made. And when you do that, that joins the round. So we're going to move, sorry, did not mean to pull that away. We're gonna go on to round 2 of the pattern. For round 2, we're gonna chain 3 to begin. And then you're going to insert a double crochet and then the double crochet increase all the way around. That's going to happen 6 times and you'll go from 12 double crochets to 18 in round 2. So here's what it looks like. And just keep in mind the starting chains do not count as a double crochet. So I'm going to make a double crochet in the very first stitch and then increase by putting 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Let's go ahead and continue around. So a double crochet and then a double crochet increase. A double crochet and a double crochet increase. Double crochet and double crochet increase. When you get to the end, you're simply going to join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet you made. And that concludes round 2. For round 3, we're just going to chain 3 and then you're going to double crochet all the way around. No increases or decreases here. So we're just going to keep the same round count of 18 double crochets. When you reach the end, just simply slip stitch to the first double crochet you made, and that's that. What you can do at the very end is if you're going to sew your hat onto your snowman doll, you're going to want to fasten off with a long yarn tail. And since this material is quite stretchy, you can go ahead and stretch it a little bit at the brim if you want to make it fit your snowman loosely. Right here I am just covering them up. And what would look really cute with these hats could be to add little pom-poms at the very top. I think it would look adorable as either a single pom-pom or as two little pom-poms on the side. So you can go ahead and have fun with customizing that. And there you have it. I hope this tutorial was really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and fasten off with a long tail because I might go ahead and sew this hat onto my snowman later. So let me just keep it long just in case I want to sew it on. And there's that. What you can do to turn your snowman into an ornament is simply to attach a yarn loop. Just make a little loop at the end here, and you can go ahead and just pull that in, knot it inside the snowman's hat, and then you'll be able to hang your snowman up. All right, thanks so much for watching and hope you have a fun time crocheting. Bye now.